Hey, what's going on YouTube? You got the old Mongo Man with you here in Mongo's upholstery shop. Well, at least that's what it's going to be. This is a room that my wife used to use in the house as a bakery. Then I started to rebuild bikes in here. As you can see, there's a bunch of bikes behind me. And, well, now we're going to turn it into an upholstery shop. So let's talk about the pain and the agony that I have been going through in the last couple of days. So like we talked about, I did go ahead and purchase a Consew 225. And this sewing machine is quite the machine, but it also takes quite a bit of learning, of which I am finally, getting down to brass tacks and I'm figuring the thing out. I wouldn't say that I'm becoming proficient with it. I'm definitely not good with it yet, but I'm sure by the end of this boat, I should be good with it. So what we have here is two cones of V92 polyester in white. And what I was trying to use first was this stuff right here. And albeit this is 100% polyester thread, it's just not thick enough to run the tension correctly on the Consew 225. Once I figured that out, and I figured that was the problem that I was having with trying to get some stitching done, then I was able to move on. So last night I came home and I sat down here at the machine. Let's just talk about this real quick. This is where I've pretty much ended up. It's not run. They want you to run back through here, come down, hit all three holes around this adjuster. Tension adjuster, around this tension adjuster, through the spring, up through the pickup. This pickup lever is very important. If you don't catch that pickup lever, it tears the thread every time. Ask me how I know. Ha, figured it out. But then down through these two, through the hook, left to right, through the center, and down through the bottom. Bobbin. The bobbin has been the biggest problem that I've had. I've got the very small bobbin in there, and as you can see, that bobbin is actually almost empty right now, so I have run out of thread in the bobbin several times, but we're figuring it out and we're getting it under control. Over here on this side is the bobbin threader, so that's why I have two cones set up. One is to thread bobbins, one's to run the machine. That way I don't have to undo all of this every time I have to thread a bobbin. So this machine does have reverse, so essentially it's just a foot foot treadle to run it, right? Like most every machine. And then it does have reverse. You just push down on this and it goes in reverse, on off. It does have the essentially the knee knocker there, and what that knee knocker will do is if you put the foot down, the knee picks it up, so you can do that with your knee while you're working, so you can reposition your work, and that does prove very helpful at times. So I started doing stuff like this little guy right here. This is just this is when I just got the new thread, trying to get everything figured out as far as the tension, upper and lower tensions. And as you can see there, that one looks really nice, both sides, top and bottom. Bottom's running a little tight there, maybe a little loose. I haven't figured out if it's loose or tight or what it is. So then I just started messing around, trying to figure things out. So a buddy of mine had given me a bunch of his old fatigues, and I eventually want to start making bags. Another good friend of mine a while back had mentioned starting to make our own bug out bags, and that was one of the thoughts I had in the purchase of this sewing machine, is that we'll be able to do that now. So I figured, well, let's learn how to use the machine. Let's start messing with some of those fatigues. So that's what you got here, and it's just a quick little wallet, if you will, or pouch, whatever you want to call it, just sewed together. It has a little bit of I don't know, that's actually a bag that I ripped up and just sewed in there just to see what we could come up with. And then from there, I actually took his fatigue apart and sewed it all together and made this goofy looking little thing. And again, it's another little pouch Just, you know, it's not big enough for money, but it's, I don't know, maybe you could put it in your other pouch and carry stuff in it. I have no idea. I'm gonna give that to him just because it has his name on it, and he was in the Air Force. So just something to mess around, learn how to use the machine. That's all I was doing there, you know. I figured, what the heck, I may as well see what we can do. And the stitches there on the patches came out really nice. This thing altogether isn't too bad. You know, I learned how to use forward and reverse, turn the machine around. But this is a really good showing of what this machine will do. So this is a piece of the vinyl that I'm using. And as you can see, this piece of vinyl has all kinds of weird stitches and stuff in it. So on the boat, there's a lot of beading in it. And the beading that came with the boat is just essentially a plastic hollow tube. And some of that's getting tore up and ripped up. So what I've started to use is copper wire. As you can see there, I sewed that. Oh, come on, and focus. Let's see, maybe if I come over here. There we go. So you can see there's some copper wire in there. But so this is, like I said, this was a piece of the vinyl that I'm using on the boat, and I tried a couple stitches. This is actually a joint right here, or a seam that's all been sewed up, and then I went back and forth. On this side, I wanted to do some embroidery just to see what would happen there. So that's what you see there. These are all parallel stitches, just to see if I could hold it parallel. And then I did a couple, you know, angles coming through here. But so the Consew 225 is a industrial sewing machine, and the reason that I bought it was so that I could get through multiple layers. And if you look here, I just trimmed the edge off of that. That's how many layers of material I was sewing through on this piece. So you can see here, it's layered 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's doubled over itself in a couple places. So yeah. So that was learning to use the sewing machine. So we were using the old Singer, and we had started putting some stuff together. So let's go through that. For the bow cushion there, all tore apart. This was the first iteration that we made with the Singer, and this is a half lap layover seam. I wasn't going to do that, but I think it's a lot nicer seam. And if you look there, see how small that thread is right there? That's the old thread. That little thread that I was using, that's polyester thread, but it's too small. You can see here that this ripped apart. I've cut this one all apart because I needed the red, but you can see here on this side. The hardest problem is getting the end plates on. The top plates and stuff aren't that bad, it's the end plates. So here I was trying to learn how to do an end plate. And this essentially would be a top plate with an end plate sewed to it. And in the middle of there, of course, is beading. There's no beading in this piece, but there would normally be. That's kind of what you see there. And it's all sewed together. The trick here is to do that in one sew. So this was iteration number 1. This was me learning or trying out to do the end beading. So this was iteration number 2. Now this one is like, I did this one 3 times. Again, you can see here the seam, I screwed the seam up, but just to see what I could do there, I kept going at it and at it and at it. And this one ended up being too big to fit the cushion. So I actually tore it all apart and trimmed it down, but I trimmed it down too much, and then it ended up being too small. And that's actually what happened to this piece too. It ended up being too small. So this piece is all together, and it actually, the beading's on it, but you can see here how all that is put together. On this end, this is what kind of happened here, because I had sewed it before and there was a bunch of holes in there. When I pulled on it tautly, it ripped the fabric. So that was iteration, believe it or not, like 3, 4, and 5. And then finally, after messing around with that long enough, I figured I'm just going to take my time, and I tore that pattern apart. I used the original for the pattern, and I put one together, and this is what we came up with. So this is together temporarily. This actually is the cushion. It has the beading in place. This is that half seam, half lap layover seam. The beading on the ends, wrapped right around. You can see the back side here. There's quite a bit of material hung over, but that's okay. I can deal with that. What has to happen here, though, is this wood needs treated. I haven't treated the wood yet. And I need the silk, the plastic silk, or whatever they call it, that goes underneath of that. So that actually is number one. That's the very first one we've done. And if I might say so myself, I am quite pleased with it. And again, you know, I'm only going to get better. So this over here, this is where that wood is at. So I'm going to have to do something there. Probably going to, the plastic's going to help a little bit, but I'm going to do maybe a thin sheet of foam or something in there. Just maybe glue it. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So yeah, this has been what I've been doing all week, trying to get this all figured out and set up. Again, the Consew 225 I got from Consew up in Hickory, Pennsylvania. They're actually going to be going out of business, so if you guys think you might want to try some type of commercial sewing machine, I suggest you give them a call and see what they can do for you. But it's been, and it is, I've never, you know, last time I sewed was in high school, probably, in home ec class. And I wasn't very good at it, I can tell you that. But, you know, taking the time to learn the machine, to figure out how it works, and being a little more patient, I've been able to figure it out and you come up with something that I think I can actually use in Phoenix. But so far, so good. You know, it was a little frustrating, and it still is. I'm sure it's not going to be, you know, it's not easy, and the frustration isn't over yet. It's just a matter of learning how to do it, learning the machine, and knowing what's the matter with it when something does happen, so that you can fix it and move on. All right, that's what I've been up to. So hope you guys like it. Again, there'll be a lot of sewing going on. I'm going to get Cheryl down here. Hopefully she'll take the reins here and learn the machine just as well, and we can figure this out together. So, all right, thanks for watching. You guys take care, and hey, it is July the 4th, Independence Day here in America, and I want to wish everybody a very happy Independence Day, and just want to thank all of those in the armed forces, the people that have laid their lives down so that I may be free in this country and have my independence. I also want to thank everybody that has ever done anything for me or my family and enabled me to get to this point. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you all later. The Mongo Man is out.